Today we're doing Eureka Math Module 1, Lesson 14, and you can see that your learning goal is exactly the same as yesterday. What that tells you is we're not learning a new skill necessarily today, but what we're doing is we're going deeper, or we're learning more ways to do the same skill. Okay, we're going to add on to what we learned yesterday. So just like yesterday, by the end of this math lesson, you should be able to divide a decimal by a whole number using a multitude of strategies, many different strategies. Here's a division equation. 56 divided by 7 equals 8. Do you agree? Yes. Again, that's math facts, right? But each part of the division equation has a different name. The first number, 56, go ahead and write that in your notebook. Copy this whole thing into your notebook. 56 is the first number. That's what we're starting with. Have we divided anything yet when I have 56? No. We call that the whole because it's before you started dividing anything. Your very first number is called the whole. So go ahead and label that number. Now the next number is telling you how many groups or how many pieces are in each group, how many times you're going to divide it up. In this case, it's 7. So that part is called the divisor. Okay. And then the last part is the answer. The answer tells you that there are 8 groups of 7 in 56. The last part is called the quotient. Go ahead and label that as well. Sometimes we see division equations written like this, horizontally, in a sentence. That's a division sentence. But many times we see it written in a way called the standard algorithm. And that's when you have that weird division sign, okay? Now, a lot of times people will make a mistake. They'll write it like this: 56 divided by 7 equals 8. You're laughing because you know that's wrong, okay? But this is a very common mistake. So I'm going to teach you how you can always remember how to write the standard algorithm correctly. Before you start dividing, what is this number called? The whole. The whole starts with a W, but it sounds like it starts with an H, right? The whole always lives in the house because the whole starts with an H sound, and house also starts with an H sound. Go ahead and write your whole inside the house. Then, what's the second number called? The one that tells you how many groups you're dividing it into? Divisor. What letter does that start with? The divisor is knocking on the door. Okay, so the whole lives in the house, and the divisor is knocking on the door. And then, I don't have a cool letter thing for you to remember this, but the quotient is what is the answer, and that's on top. Okay? As the learning goal says, we're doing a decimal. Isn't 6.72 a decimal? Yeah. Divided by a whole number. Isn't 3 a whole number? Yeah. So is this something we should be able to do according to our learning goal? Very good. You'll notice there's a place value chart, and I've set up the standard algorithm. On the place value chart, notice I made the top part over here, which is where the whole will go. And down here, you'll see I have 3 groups. 1, 2, 3, because my divisor is telling me I'm dividing it into 3 groups. Okay, let's draw out our whole first. How many ones do I have in my whole? Everyone? 6. How many dots do I need to draw to show that? 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Very good. Okay, how many tenths do I have in my whole? 7. Go ahead and draw 7 dots in your tenths column to show that you have 7 tenths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Finally, how many hundredths do I have in my whole? 2. We need to then, of course, draw 2 hundredths in my hundredths column. Do I have any thousands I need to draw? No. Now I'm going to split those into how many equal-sized groups? 3. How do you know it's 3 groups? Well, because my divisor is 3. Okay, so once again, I've set up my whole in my house, and my divisor is knocking on the door. Let's split our ones first. How many ones do I have to split? Altogether? 6. So I can put 1, 2, 3, cross those out, and then again 1, 2, 3 before I use them all up. When I split up my 6 ones into 3 groups, how many ended up in each group? 2. Let's record that on top of our ones. Do you see how I lined up I said that there are 2 ones that came from the 6 ones. Do you see that? How the ones are lined up right here? Yeah. When I did that, how many ones did I cross out? How many ones did I use up? 6. All of them, 6. Or 2 times 3, which is 6. So let's write here that we used up 6. And how many do I have left? How many ones are not crossed out? How many ones do I have left? 0. I had 6 to begin with. I crossed all 6 of them out, and I have 0 left. Make sure you're writing down at the standard algorithm the same time that we're working on the place value chart. I want you to see how the two are related. I don't have any more ones to work with, so let's move to the tenths column. How many tenths do I have to start out with? 7. Okay, so I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 1 in each group, and cross 3 out. Do I have more I can divide? More I can share? Okay, let's do 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Do I have more that I can share equally? No, I only have 1 left. So let's mark that. Let's record that on our standard algorithm. When I shared my tenths equally into 3 groups, how many tenths are in each group? 2. Let's record a 2 in the tenths column. Don't forget to write your decimal point to make that the tenths column. When I did that, oh, by the way, I'm showing that I have 7 tenths that I'm working with. Okay, now, how many tenths did I use up? How many tenths did I cross out? 6, otherwise known as 2 times 3. Okay, so let's record that I used 6 of them up and take those away. How many are left? 1. In fact, don't you agree that there's 1 right here? Should we just ignore that 1/10? We can break it apart, can't we? We can cross it off, and it becomes how many hundredths? 10. Let's go ahead and draw those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Don't forget to cross off the 1/10 that you broke apart to become 10 hundredths. Now, altogether, how many hundredths do I have? 12. I had the 2 yellow ones, and I added 10 more blue ones. Do you see that? So I can show my standard algorithm right here that altogether I have 12 hundredths. Now, let's go ahead and share those 12 hundredths. I'm going to cross out 1, 2, 3, and put them in my 1, 2, 3, 1 per group. Do I have more I can share? Okay, I'm going to cross off 3 more. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Do I have more that I can share? Yes, I'm going to cross off 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Do I still have more I can share? Nice. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I ran out of hundredths. How many hundredths are in each group? 4. Let's record that in the quotient part of our hundredths column. Do you see how the hundredths and tenths and ones all line up in the quotients and the whole? Super important. How many hundredths did I use up? If you look at how many I crossed out, there's 12, otherwise known as 3 times 4. Okay, so let's record that I used 12 of them up. And how many are left? 0. Do I have anything left in my whole to divide up? No, I'm done. So my final quotient is on top of my standard algorithm, 2.24. Let's see if that matches up to what's in one group. Do I have 2 ones? Do I have 2 tenths? And 4 hundredths? So you can see my place value chart and my standard algorithm show the same math.